Sit down, right there, don't go nowhere, little baby gon' shake that, 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 shit, yeah, I like that, bring that, right here, sit that, right there, don't go nowhere, say yeah, I like that, bring that, right here, sit that, right there, don't go nowhere, baby gon'.
Welcome back. We're back with another reaction video. Today we are reacting to When Killer Thinks He Planned the Perfect Murder. This is a Mysterious 7 video. Let's get right into the reaction.
This is the video of Lakewood police officers arriving at Roa Al-Danoon's doorstep for a welfare check after she was reported missing.
Last time she was heard from was Sunday night at work, around midnight.
Any reason why they're concerned? Does it smell like something sour, maybe?
Yeah.
The officers turned every stone to find her. However, despite their crushing hard work and overcoming several hurdles, their search ended with finding Roa's dead body in a horrifying state. Moreover, as detectives dug deeper into the investigation, dark secrets surfaced, exposing a killer who believed he had executed the perfect murder.
Have you seen her from your neighbor?
No, not today.
When's the last time you saw her?
I've seen her.
24-year-old Roa was found missing from her apartment on October 16, 2016. She hadn't shown up for work for 3 days straight, prompting her workplace to inform the police about it. Detective Kevin Kohuth was dispatched to conduct a welfare check for Roa on October 19, 2016. Reaching her apartment, he didn't receive any response when he knocked on the door. But they knew something was wrong. This prompted the police to call the person in charge of the building's maintenance to get them a duplicate key.
So while we're waiting for maintenance to let us in, we started knocking on doors and spoke with her neighbor.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing, sir? Have you seen her from your neighbor?
The head really shaped like a
No,
dog.
not today.
When's the last time you saw her?
I've seen her in a couple of days. Haven't seen her
Couple of
yet.
days.
Alright.
How often do you usually see her?
Maybe once or twice a week, but I do at least see the car.
The neighbor said that he hadn't seen Roa for quite some days. While this wasn't out of the ordinary, the neighbor mentioned that she had a son, so he should have at least seen them in the last few days. While the police were questioning the neighbor, alarm bells were still going off in their minds because of the terrible and sour smell escaping Roa's apartment. After a few minutes, the maintenance guy arrived and finally allowed Detective Kohuth to enter Roa's residence.
Thanks, Jim.
Just when the door of her residence swung open, the police immediately knew that something sinister had gone down in her house.
Lakewood Police! Anybody home? Lakewood Police!
Roa's room was a complete mess with everything scattered about. To contrast this, her son's room looked perfectly organized and even had some packed bags. When the police entered the kitchen, they discovered the source of the sour and decaying smell.
There was a jug of milk on the table with a glass of milk next to it.
That can't be it, though.
It looked like there was a meal prepared. There was a pan that was filled with chicken, and it was all dried out, and it was just still sitting out.
The spoiled jug of milk, the cooked but untouched meal, and the chaotic mess in Roa's room screamed that she and her son had been taken away from the house in a hurry. But despite the place being a complete mess where her potential abductor didn't try to hide anything, the police didn't find any clues that pointed in any direction. But they had to act quickly since they now had 2 missing persons on their hands, one of them being a child. Expanding their investigation, the police decided to contact her workplace for more answers. While the police didn't have any leads so far, one of Roa's colleagues shockingly revealed that she actually had a stalker after her.
Oh, God.
Roa had come to the United States with her ex-husband, Fahad Mohammed Saeed, from Iraq. While the couple wanted to build a better life for themselves and their son in the U.S., Roa soon discovered that it wouldn't be possible as long as she stayed with her abusive husband. After several episodes of violence, Roa filed for divorce and also got custody of her son. Several court orders were also placed to keep Fahad away from her and her child. However, while this should have meant the end of the storms in her life, little did she know that more horrors were awaiting her.
Well, I feel like I did.
The police learned that Roa worked at a restaurant, and one of her colleagues, Hamza, was a great friend of hers. On October 22, 2016, They called him for interrogation at the police station and asked him when he'd last seen Roa. He said that he'd last seen her on the evening of October 16th, 2016, the day she disappeared. He said that he was over at her place and the two of them spoke with each other and were smoking a hookah. But he revealed that they weren't really alone that day.
Like 6, like 5:45, somewhere like that. She's like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you come over and stuff? I was like, you know what? Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I'll come over, smoke some hookah, and then I'll leave to soccer. Yeah. She said, okay. And then I went.
Hamza also said Roa feared Fahad, who had stalked her from time to time. He highlighted that he would also sometimes loom in the hallway of Roa's apartment to keep tabs on her. Even on that day, he said that she was still in the grip of crippling fear because of Fahad and was checking if the path was clear before letting Hamza exit her apartment.
So then at 6:45, 6:35, I told her that I have to leave. And I was going to leave. And then she wanted to check from the little thing by the door if he's there. Because sometimes he gets sent. And he was there.
What do you mean she checked? What did she check?
Like, there's a door and there's a little
the
eye
peephole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like I said, she's a real afraid of him,
Okay.
Like, not afraid, but I would say, like, she doesn't want any problems with him, So then, and she was kind of all worried and stuff like that,
Making a startling revelation, Hamza said that as she ran an eye to scout for Fahad, she saw him hovering about in the hallway.
I was like, well, what do you mean to do? Like, if you want, I can leave. I don't care.
Right.
She was like,
she looks out the peephole and
like from that little
he's in the hallway?
Yeah. He was in the hallway.
She could see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was there.
Well, what exactly did she say to you?
Okay, she was like, he was like, I don't care, you can wait, and he can come in. But he said that, like, because, it's like, like I told you, like, the Arabic community, especially the Arab community, people talk about each other. Blah, 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 blah. So, like, and, like, for a woman, if something, came up, like, there's a guy went over her house, or friends went over her house, and, and she's a woman, and she's, been married, and now she's, divorced. That's kind of like a big deal for them. So then I told her, like, what I mean to do? I can leave from the door. So then she tells me, you know what, just get out of the back, and I was like, sure.
Thus, Roa was very scared that her ex-husband was outside her doorstep the night she disappeared. Moreover, the crippling fear she felt made her send Hamza away by the back door instead of the front. This immediately flagged Fahad as a person of interest. To add to the benefit of the investigation, the police discovered that Fahad had even violated a temporary protection order placed by the court. This gave them enough ground to detain him. The police got a warrant for Fahad's arrest and reached his workplace to nab him on October 25th, 2016.
Hello. Hi, Detectives from Lakewood. Is there someone in your human resources department we can speak to? We need to talk to.
Okay, which employee?
We are looking for Fahad Mohammed Said.
Come in, I'll have somebody pull him off the court.
Hi. Detective Captain with Lakewood Police. How are you? Okay, all right, come on in.
The officers, led by Detective David Kappa, found that they wouldn't be able to properly speak with him since he only spoke Arabic. Regardless, they had to make the arrest and also interrogate him about his missing ex-wife.
We're going to arrest you.
So would y'all read his rights in Arabic? Would y'all have Googled it?
You violated your temporary protection order. So you're under arrest. Okay? Do you have any weapons, anything sharp, knives? No.
Fahad cooperated with the cops and didn't resist his arrest. Fahad looked very calm and his body language didn't show any signs of anxiety or hesitation, and the same behavior also continued at the police station. Detective Kappa started the interrogation by asking him when he last saw his ex-wife, and as much as he tried to give a credible answer, there was a strange detail that instantly caught the attention of the police.
The last time that you saw your ex-wife?
Sunday, 11 at night.
Do you know what day in particular?
16.
And where did you see her at?
She came to my house.
Why did she come to your house?
She dropped off
Did she tell you where she was going?
She was going to Michigan to Detroit, function like a party. And she said that she would be right back the following day.
Thus, Roa was last seen by Fahad in his own house and had gone to a party from there. But Fahad said that she never returned after that and wasn't responding to his text messages.
He told us the following day he was worried that she hadn't returned to pick up their son. And he began trying to reach out to her, sending her text messages, trying to figure out where she was at, trying to call her on her phone. There was no answer. He was aware he was violating the temporary protection order issued by our court. He was prohibited from having her son in his presence. It just didn't really make a lot of sense to us.
But this was all Fahad had to offer to the Lakewood police. This opened up the angle that Roa may not have been in danger at her own house. The real trouble could have begun in her ex-husband's residence. Moreover, from this confession, Fahad had not only made himself the last man to have seen Roa, but also came out as a man knowingly violating the court orders for custody of his son. This led to his arrest, and he was imprisoned in the Cuyahoga County Jail. However, the police couldn't really celebrate this small win now. In fact, while they did manage to put a suspect behind bars, the truth behind Roa's disappearance was also still locked away. The fact that Roa could have been kidnapped from outside her house after leaving Fahad's place seemed odd, especially with the mess her room was in when the officers entered her apartment. The police believed that her house was the site where everything started. To have another look, the police decided to go back to her apartment. While they'd observed a sour and rotting smell the last time they were in Roa's apartment, their second visit also led them to a foul odor of something similar, the stench of a liar. The police had learned from Hamza that Fahad was lurking outside Roa's apartment when he was there on the day of her disappearance. While this was a solid lead against Fahad, Hamza had also seemingly slipped a lie in during his confession.
Roa!
One of the things we located was a hookah, and this hookah was missing some pieces. A couple small pieces were located in the kitchen garbage can, and it was missing its hose. We didn't know at the time if this missing hose could potentially be a very crucial piece of evidence that we need. During our interview with Hamza, he tells us he and Roa were smoking hookah in her apartment. We're now in her apartment. We see this hookah. It's missing pieces and it's missing a hose. Now, why is this hose missing? So why is he telling us that he was there smoking hookah if this hookah that we found in Roa's kitchen is missing all these pieces and is inoperable? It didn't make a lot of sense to us. At that point, I was reluctant to rule Hamza out as being someone involved in Roa's disappearance.
Okay, I get that, right? But he still technically told the truth. What are you talking about? They smoke hookah just because it is this a symbol now doesn't mean it was clearly a symbol when we were smoking it. Stupid. What?
To get more clarity, the police brought Hamza back for questioning at the police station and saw him expose his lie before them.
You say that you went there to smoke hookah.
Yeah.
Did you bring a hookah?
She has her own hookah.
Okay, and describe it to me.
It's a two-piece, like a bowl, and then it goes a metal piece, and then it goes the head, and then it goes a hose.
So, the hose?
Yeah.
We've been to her apartment. I found the hookah, but I didn't find the hose, and I didn't find the mouthpiece. So I'm just trying to figure this out.
The officers tried to corner Hamza by accusing him of having an affair with Roa in the guise of a friendship.
For somebody who's 22 to say, I went to the house to chill, smoke hookah, that to me means you're probably over there
Banging.
for a relationship.
Okay, there's no relationship, zero,
Okay.
between me and her.
That nigga, I got respect.
I guarantee you on everything. There is absolutely zero. And, I do have a girlfriend, and we're getting married.
So, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Is the concern that word of you being there would get out to your girlfriend?
I mean, I don't care as long as you guys find her. But at the same time, I care about my reputation.
When Hamza denied these allegations, his tone suggested that he was pretty aggressive about it. He was also very concerned about his reputation in his community, which was at risk since he was involved in the case of a missing woman. This was the perfect leverage the police needed to make Roa's friend-cum-colleague spill the beans on whether he was the man behind her disappearance.
Did you assist in Roa's disappearance?
No.
Are you now located within the state of Ohio?
Yes.
Have you ever committed a traffic offense? No. Are you certain you had nothing to do with Roa's disappearance?
Yes.
Hamza passed. I was comfortable that he was not involved in her disappearance whatsoever. But we're no closer to finding Roa at this point.
By this point, the police didn't have any leads that could have solved the mystery behind Roa's disappearance with them. One of their suspects was behind bars for a different violation, while the other got himself cleared off their list after passing a polygraph test. Trying to dig deeper into the matter and looking elsewhere for a clue, Detective Pat Foy decided to check the phone records of Fahad, the man who had last seen Roa before she went missing. Interestingly, he found an unknown caller Fahad was in contact with during the window where Roa could have possibly disappeared.
At that point, we're going to focus our investigation on any calls that he may have made, texts that he may have made, and also cell phone location. When we began to look at Fahad's phone, there was a phone number that he had contacted right around the time of Roa's disappearance. We had a witness that placed Fahad near the apartment, and then we had a cell phone number of a person, yet unknown, who he was communicating with.
Upon investigation, the detectives learned this man was a friend of Fahad named Amar Sami. Interestingly, when the location of his phone was tracked, it was right outside Fahad's apartment. Shockingly, the police now had another man they could interrogate to find out more about Roa's case. On November 9th, 2016, Amar was brought in to the Lakewood police station for questioning and seemed very cooperative right off the bat. He was asked what he'd been talking to Fahad about on October 16th, 2016 during his calls with him. Amar explained that the two had decided to meet up outside his place and smoke cigarettes. But he later dropped Fahad at his house and went to Walmart on his own. He also claimed to have no knowledge about Roa's whereabouts.
The day I'm focusing on is the 16th of October, the day that you were at work.
9:30 he left the work. Before that, Fahad called him. 7:30. Around 7:30 called. Yeah, he said, I'm here and I'm gonna be home in about 10 o'clock. I went to his house, close to his house, and like in the street, I called him and he came down. They went to like a convenience store to bring some cigarettes.
Amar said that the two part ways, and Amar said that he went to Walmart.
This seemed to be yet another dead end for the police. However, to get him to confess, Detective Foy threatened Amar with deportation if he found out that he was hiding anything from them.
If we find out that she is harmed, the people responsible will go to prison. If people are not citizens, it could be subject to deportation.
There's no problems. I'm really ready to help with anything.
And it doesn't mean deportation with you and your wife. That means you deportation. Wife stays here.
I'm ready for anything if I'm involved.
I'm ready for anything, but what I really would like to have is the truth.
Despite this threat, Amar didn't really say anything useful to the police.
I'm dead.
Moreover, they also couldn't keep him with them for a long time since he'd come to aid them voluntarily. But while the police thought they couldn't yield anything from Amar, they were stunned when they noticed that Fahad's friend had ended up making the same mistake as Hamza. Verifying Amar's claim to see if he was telling the truth, the police shifted their focus from what happened during his meeting with Fahad to what happened after it. Amar had mentioned that he went to a Walmart store after he dropped Fahad home. To check this, Detective David Jacobs checked the CCTV footage of the store to see if Amar actually went there. The surveillance footage showed that Amar was indeed telling the truth and had been to Walmart. But unlike what he told the police, he wasn't alone.
When we initially looked at the video footage, we started with the parking lot. We observed Amir Sami's vehicle pull into the parking lot and park. At that point, we do observe two people exit his vehicle. We now switch our attention to the door entrance camera to Walmart. At that time, we did see both him and Amir Sami, him being Fahad, enter the Walmart. And then we observed them go over to the hardware section. And at that point, we observed Fahad remove a 6-foot digging shovel from the rack. And both him and Amir Sami then proceeded to the checkout registers.
Well, I know what the answer is.
It indicated to us that Amar was not truthful with us, that he had lied to us. He certainly knew something, and we felt by bringing him in a second time, our hopes were that he would confess to it.
If lying to the police invited suspicion, buying shovels from Walmart late at night blatantly screamed scrutiny. Amar's lies brought him to the police station for a second round of questioning. This time, however, his status had escalated from someone who was in communication with Fahad to someone who was actively present with Fahad that day and had possibly helped him in the disappearance of Roa. Moreover, since both men had shovels in their hands, it indicated that they could have potentially killed her and buried her body.
As part of our investigation, we went to Walmart. When we watched this video, we saw something very interesting. What do you think we saw?
Finding his back to the wall against the police, Amar decided to take his chances and lie to the police one more time. This time, however, the detectives knew who they were dealing with.
I've had a lot of surgeries and I take a lot of sedatives. I may have forgotten something. Before I sat down with you last time, I told you I have problems and I take medications. I may have forgotten something. I have no problem. Help you any way I can.
Why couldn't you remember these new details before?
It depends on the question they ask. It's probably it's not on purpose. I told you everything.
The police didn't believe that Amar had difficulty understanding the questions due to his medications. Moreover, since he'd lied to the police actively investigating a case, a warrant for his arrest was issued for obstructing justice, and he was also sent behind bars. While the police had both their suspects in jail, the answers to the question of what happened to Roa were still locked away from the reach of the police. Moreover, a court order which came 2 months later ended up placing a timer on the backs of the Lakewood police, following which they had to let the suspects walk free.
Damn.
The Lakewood Municipal Departments and Municipal Courts sentenced Fahad to 6 months of prison time for violating the court order regarding Roa's son's custody in January 2017.
6 months?
While this secured him behind bars for half a year, if the police didn't solve the case by that time, Fahad would be a free man again. The pressure was mounting against the police, who were desperate to find the truth. Their borrowed time kept running out, and with each passing month, they had no leads to work on. Moreover, this also left the police department very frustrated.
It was very frustrating because we really wanted to find Roa and we wanted to bring some sort of resolution to this investigation. And it was just a very difficult thing for all of us to deal with.
While sending Fahad to prison had started to seem futile to the police, little did they know that they had triggered a domino effect that would finally reveal the horrific events that went down on the night Roa went missing.
Where is
Michael, please
her
fire.
child?
Hi, yes, I have information about a missing person.
Okay.
Her name is Roa, it's Roaa.
Uh-huh. Right.
I don't know how to say her last name. But
I know who you're talking about, though.
on Friday after work, my boyfriend called me and said he didn't tell me what was said. I'm like, his wife is missing. What's that about? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, that's weird. He's like, yeah. So then when he told me on Friday, because he's like, I'm getting a little nervous, this guy's getting paranoid or something like that. And I was like, okay. So I don't know, but I just wanted to tell you guys, whatever information you need to know.
On April 2nd,
Shorty, what the f are you talking about? That ain't make no sense. Huh? I just want you to know. You said nothing. You said nothing.
2nd, 2017, a caller on the other end told that her boyfriend was an inmate in the same jail as Fahad. She noted that Fahad had confided in her boyfriend regarding Roa's disappearance in the cell since he also spoke Arabic. While Fahad wanted the help of his newly discovered friend behind bars, The caller said that her boyfriend wanted to help the police with the investigation of the case and pass on the information he had. Thus, the police, who'd been scrambling for leads all this while now, received a much-needed breakthrough.
My partner and I went to the county jail and picked this inmate up, and then he told me he has a map drawn, allegedly by Fahad, where Fahad had buried Roa.
Dear.
What is this right here?
Okay. First, you want me to tell you why he drew this? You want me to move the body?
This new information was very exciting for us, but we did not want to get too far ahead of ourselves at this point yet. Allegedly, Fahad explained to this inmate he had come to Roa's apartment on October 16th and had gotten into her building. He stated he keyed himself into her apartment. Fahad had looked down the hallway and noticed Roa's bedroom door open. And he approached that door, and when he looked inside her bedroom, he observed Roa having relations with Hamza. He did not make any sounds.
He's a cook.
He claims that he made a brief recording of the two of them in her bed.
That nigga's weird. Bruh, he weird, bruh. No. First and foremost, gang, that's not your, no more. Y'all gotta stop this, bro. Y'all gotta stop this, bro. That's not your girl no more, bro. Stop this, bro. What's up with you excessive ass nigga, bro? It couldn't have been that good, bro. If it was that good, you wouldn't have messed up in the first place to break up with it. It's not making no sense. Little buddy stupid. First and foremost, you went to her crib. Use the key. How did you use the key? How do you have a key? Why do you have a key? Opens door. See shorty getting clapped. You didn't say, let me pull out my phone. Brother, what's wrong with you?
And I think that would be enough to anger him to a point where he could cause her some harm.
Thus, the police learned that Hamza wasn't a clean guy after all. But the police didn't have time to worry about him, since they now knew that Fahad was the guy responsible for the disappearance and the murder of Roa. He'd confided in the inmate about his perfect crime because he was worried that the rains during that season would wash away the soil over Roa's burial site. Fahad wanted to take the help of the inmate to contact someone outside the prison who could keep his crime hidden. However, this ended up being a fatal mistake on his part because the information landed straight in the bag of Lakewood police. On May 15th, 2017, the police used the map hand-drawn by Fahad to track Roa's body and dug it out. Moreover, they also took the help of the FBI's evidence response team to get her body out.
This area, he lived in this apartment. The apartment is over there.
Okay.
He buried her around.
Several hours had gone by of us looking around. The supervisor of the FBI's evidence response team decided to grab a shovel, and he had dug maybe a 12-inch deep hole, and he said, "What's that?" And you ended up seeing the corner of a zipper to a, felt like it was a canvas bag. We began digging a little bit more around this area and started to smell decomposition. And we knew that this was the spot. We knew we had most likely found her, which was a relief to us. But I was aware that there was still a lot of more work ahead of us.
Fahad just had to spend 2 more months in prison before walking out to his old life. However, he was brought in for questioning right after Roa's body was discovered and sat across from the same detectives who had interrogated him back in October 2016. This time, however, instead of just a custody violation, the police were ready to shed light on the monstrosity he committed.
Yeah, man.
Without revealing that they'd found the body, Detective Jacobs told Fahad what he thought went down on the night his ex-wife went missing.
You were very angry when you saw her in bed with this other guy.
If I wanted to, I would have killed the two of them.
Right. But he was gone when you went back up to her apartment. It seems more convenient to me that you would go back up to her apartment once that guy is gone and confront her there regarding what you had seen, since you were right there. You didn't have time to leave. You went back up to her apartment after that guy left, and you confronted Roa in her apartment about what you saw.
There was no evidence that he actually recorded the event at all.
While the detective was almost spot on with his theory, he was off the mark by just 1 point. Moreover, he also learned that Fahad hadn't been completely honest with the inmate who had leaked the information about his master plan to the police.
We believe it was just a ploy. I think the reason he had told Roa that he had videotape was that it would save his image in the community.
The detective also
Save his image in the community. Gang. Your next plan was to take your wife's ex-wife's life. I'm not the community. If the community saves you, nigga, the community need to be. I'm telling you, get them guys up out of there, because there's no way we're not protecting you. What?
also learned that Roa had almost fallen to this lying ploy of Fahad and agreed to get back together with him. However, in her last moments alive, Roa chose to fight for her freedom instead of falling back into the same dark pit from which she'd worked really hard to escape.
So during their interview with Fahad, he had indicated that Roa wanted to reconcile, that she came back with him to his apartment. They had relations, their child was there, that they were going to get back together. It was at that point, sometime in the middle of the night, Fahad claims that he was restless, he wasn't sleeping. He hears something in the kitchen, he looks up and he sees Roa in front of him, and he believes she's holding a knife.
I'm looking at her, she's coming my way. She thinks I'm sleeping, but I'm wide awake and I'm watching her come towards me.
He jumps out of bed.
Sure.
He attempts to disarm her of the knife, and in doing so, he gets behind her and begins to choke her. At some point, she becomes unconscious and falls to the floor.
I know that she's dead. I put her in a bag. So I ended up putting the bag in her car, took the shovel, took her to the park. I dug up a hole for about 2 hours, buried her.
On January.
Yeah, too bad. The nigga still lied. He said he did. Nigga, you and your mans buried her. Did we forget about that fact? We also forget about the fact that, brother, if she was attacking you, why would you not sacrifice your hand, throw the weapon away, get out of there? All right, boom. Say, it's all look crazy. Say, so say you did the hood. You tried to choke her, so she dropped the knife. As soon as you got the knife out of her hand, release her. Okay, you say she was unconscious. Just because she's unconscious doesn't mean she's deceased. Call 911. What? None of the things you're saying make sense. And then for you to say, yeah, instead of me calling the police, I'm going to just bury her. You're going to jail.
18th, 2018, Fahad pled guilty to the involuntary manslaughter of his ex-wife, Roa. He was also charged with kidnapping and burglary. He was given a prison sentence of 25 years and was deported back to Iraq for his crimes.
Get his ass up out of here.
For aiding his friend and obstructing justice, Ammar Sami was sentenced to 18 months behind bars.
Bro, send him back to Iraq too.
During the trial, it was also revealed that Fahad had buried Roa's body right in front of his son after mercilessly killing her.
Like, come on!
Thus, his big ego and possessiveness towards a woman who had already divorced him also left some scars in the mind of the young boy.
Child endangerment, at least.
Before we end this video, we'd like to send sincere condolences to all the loved ones of Roa who had to experience the loss of a young mom working hard for her son.
Facts.
While Fahad's imprisonment may not bring the 24-year-old who met an untimely demise back, we hope that the justice served by the court helps them cope with their loss. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you think Fahad received a just sentence for murdering his ex?
Hell no. I mean, he got sent back to Iraq. I don't know what they jails is like. But he definitely should have been serving at least 50 of them things in America. I don't know what we're doing here. The buddy's insane, narcissist, egotist, all that. Like, bro, you just let it go. You have to learn to let it go. Some things aren't meant to be. You trying to fight for something that ain't worth fighting for, gang. If she don't want to be with you, let her be, gang. He didn't do it. Bro, there's no way you telling me he in the apartment basically broke into the apartment. I ain't gonna say it's breaking into the apartment because he had the key, but how the hell he get the key? This nigga broke into the apartment and said, yeah, oh, I'm being go-gold. And so you crash out? Like, go get therapy. What's wrong with this? That's the end of the video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts on the video in the comment section below. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date when I drop videos on this channel. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Stay safe, y'all.
Everything I'm seeing, I achieve it, bitch, we best. Everything I'm seeing, I achieve it, bitch, we best. Everything I'm seeing, I achieved it, bitch, you best believe it. It has been my Nintendo switch it, though, kick it with my kinfolk. Haters just be talking, so I really do not need that info. Yeah, that info. Yeah.